Welcome students, this is the fourth part of the Interpreter of Maldives. You have already listened three parts of this short story. In this part, Kapasi is telling about his job, why he is taken this job. The job was a sign of his failings. In his youth, he had been a devoted scholar of foreign languages, the owner of an impressive collection of dictionaries. He had dreamed of being an interpreter for the diplomats and dignitaries, resolving conflicts between people and the nations, settling disputes of which he alone could understand both sides. Mr. Kapasi is talking about his job. His job was a sign of his failings. In his youth, he had been a devoted scholar of foreign languages and the owner of collection of dictionaries. He had a dream of interpreter of diplomats and dignitaries, and he wants to resolve conflicts between people and nations and settling disputes which he alone could understand both sides. He was a self-educated man in a series of notebooks in the evenings before his parents settled his marriage. He had listed the common etymologies of words, and at one point in his life, he was confident that he could converse if given the opportunity in English, French, Russian, and Portuguese and Italian, not to mention Hindi, Bengali, Farsi, and Gujarati. He was a self educated man. He learned many languages. Before his marriage, he collected the etymologies, means origin and the meaning of the words. He collected so many words and he became fluent in English, French, Russian, and Portuguese and Italian, not to mention Hindi, Bengali, and Farsi and Gujarati also. Not only a handful of European phrases remained in his memory, scattered words for the things like sauces and chives. English was the only non-Indian language he spoke fluently anymore. Mr. Kapasi knew it was not a remarkable talent. Sometimes he feared that his children knew better English than he did. Just from watching television, still it came in handy for the tours. He had taken the job as an interpreter after his first son, at the age of 7, contracted typhoid. That was how he had first made the acquaintance of the doctor. At the time, Mr. Kapasi had been teaching English in a grammar school, and he bartered his skills as an interpreter to pay the increasingly exorbitant medical bills. In this paragraph, he wants to tell about why he chosen this job. At the age of 7, his son contracted a typhoid. At that time, he met with a doctor. He had been teaching in a school in order to improve his income. He bartered his skills. Bartered means exchange goods or skills. He exchanged his skills as an interpreter to pay exorbitant medical bills, means very high medical bills. In the end, the boy medical bills. In the end, the boy died. Other In the end, the boy had died one evening in his mother's arms, his limbs burning with fever. But then there was a funeral to pay for, and the other children who were born soon enough, and the newer, bigger house, and the good schools and tutors, and the fine shoes, and the television, and the countless other ways. He tried to console his wife and to keep her from crying in her sleep. And so, when the doctor offered to pay him twice as much as he earned at the grammar school, he accepted. The 7 years old boy one day died in his mother's arms. His limbs are burning with fever, but there was a hint to fever. The other children were soon enough. He provided big house, good education, and future for them. In order to control his wife's crying in sleep, and the doctor offered a big amount. Then he attended the grammar school. That is a big amount, is twice of his salary. Then he accepted the interpreter job at doctor's. Mr. Kapasi knew that his wife had little regard for his career as an interpreter. He knew it reminded her of the sons he had lost and that she resented the other lives he helped in his own small way to save. Mr. Kapasi knew that his wife respects his career as an interpreter to save others' lives. It is a job, it is a helpful job. She calls him a doctor's assistant. If ever she is required to his position, she used the doctor as a doctor's assistant. Yeah, this is the process of interpretation. Equal to taking someone's temperature or chilling in the bedtime. She never asked him about the patient who came to the doctor's office or said that his job was a big responsibility. She calls him the doctor's assistant, but she never asked about the patients who came to the doctor and said the job is a big responsibility for him. For this reason, it flattered Mr. Kapasi that Mrs. Das was so intrigued by his job. Unlike his wife, she had reminded him of its intellectual challenges. She had she had used the word romantic. She didn't behave in a romantic way towards her husband. And yet she had used the word to describe him. He wondered if Mr. and Mrs. Das were a bad match, just as he and his wife were. Perhaps they too had little in common apart from the 3 children and a decade of their lives. Mr. Kapasi flattered because Mrs. Das interested by his job. She reminded intellectual challenges and also used the word romantic. That impressed Mr. Kapasi very much. Mrs. Das don't behave in a romantic way with his husband or the children, yet she used the word to describe Kapasi. He wanted Mr. and Mrs. Das were a bad match, just as his wife were. He and his wife were. They had 3 children in 10 years. He compares both the families, Das family and Kapasi's family. They had children in 10 years, 3 children in 10 years. The sign he recognized from his own marriage were there. The bickering, the indifference, the protracted silence, her sudden interest in him, an interest she did not express in either her husband or her children, was mildly intoxicating. And Mr. Kapasi thought once again about how she had said romantic. The feeling of intoxication grew. He recognized some signs to prove their relationship is not in a good way. That he used the words bickering means argue about pretty or trivial things. Indifference means lack of interest, and protracted silence means longer than expected silence. These three are the signs of uh, their marriage. Her sudden interest in him. He didn't express any interest in her husband and children. The word romantic made Kapasi intoxication grew. He began to check his reflection in the rear view or mirror as he drove, feeling grateful that he had chosen the grey suit that morning and not the brown one, which tended to sage a little in the knees. From time to time, he glanced through the mirror at Mrs. Das. Mr. Kapasi is watching his reflection on the rear view of the mirror, and he also mirror, and he wears a brown shirt instead of he wears a grey shirt instead of brown shirt. He tended to looking forward to saw the downward curves. Sometimes he had glanced through the mirror at Mrs. Das. He began to check his reflection and Mrs. Das' reflection in the rear view of the mirror. In addition to glancing at her face, he glanced at a strawberry between her breast and the golden brown hollow in her throat. He is personally watching Mrs. Das. He decided to tell Mrs. Das about another patient and another patient, the young woman who had complained of a sensation of raindrops in her spine, the gentleman whose birthmarks had begun to sprout hairs. Mrs. Das listened attentively, stroking her hair with a small plastic brush that resembles iron woven bed nails, asking more questions for yet another example. She wants to know about the other patients. He complained that who had complained the woman had complained about sensation of raindrops, and the gentleman complained birthmark began to sprout. She listened attentively and asks him to tell some more examples. The children were quite intent to spotting more monkeys in the trees, and Mr. Das was absorbed by his tour work, so it seemed like a private conversation between Mr. Kapasi and Mrs. Das. In this manner, the next half an hour, and when they stopped for lunch at a roadside restaurant that sold fritters and omelets, sandwiches usually something Mr. Kapasi looked forward on his toes so that he could sit in a peace and enjoy some hot tea. He was disappointed. As the Das family settled together under a magenta umbrella fringed with a white and orange tassels and placed their orders with one of the waiters who marched about in entry-cornered caps. Mr. Kapasi reluctantly hurried towards a neighboring table. In this manner, next half an hour passed. The car, the, the car stopped for lunch. Mr. Kapasi wanted to take his lunch with Mrs. Das, but Das family occupied separate table and they sat there. Mr. Kapasi reluctantly, unwillingly, he chose another table. Mr. Kapasi, wait. There is a room here, Mr. Das called out. She gathered Tina onto her lap, insisting that he accompany them. And so together they had bottled mango juice and sandwiches, and Plates of onions and potatoes deep fried in a gram flour batter. After finishing two omelets and sandwiches, Mr. Das took more pictures of the group as they ate. How much longer? He asked Mr. Kapasi as he paused to load a new roll of film in the camera. About half an hour more. Mr. Das took more and more pictures of the family. And how much longer? He asked Mr. Kapasi. Mr. Kapasi said that half an hour more. By now, the children had gotten up from the table to look at more monkeys perched in a nearby tree. So there was a considerable space between Mrs. Das and Mr. Kapasi. Mr. Das placed the camera to his face and squeezed one eye shut, his tongue exposed at one corner of his mouth. This looks funny, Maina. You need to lean in closer to Mr. Kapasi. Mr. Das also took the pictures of the Mrs. Das and Kapasi. She he could smell a scent on her skin like a mixture of whiskey and rose water. He worried suddenly that she could smell his perspiration, which he knew had collected beneath the synthetic materials of his shirt. He polished off his mango juice in one gulp and smoothed his silver hair with his hands. A bit of juice dripped onto his son. He wondered. Mrs. Das had noticed. She had not. What's your address, Mr. Kapasi? She inquired, finishing for something inside her straw bag. You would like my address? Kapasi asked. So we can send you copies, she said, of the pictures. Mrs. Das said, "I want to send the pictures in the post." He handed him a scrap of paper which she had hastily ripped from a page of her film magazine. She took a piece of paper and that handed him Mr. Kapasi to write the address. The blank portion was limited. For the narrow strip, he was crowded by lines of text and a tiny picture of the hero and heroines embracing under a eucalyptus tree. Thank you. I will continue remaining in fifth part.